So I think it would be a huge mistake if I just overlooked the impact that the errors and glitches had on the expansion's launch. Now, I mean, you may think that it's, just a minor issue, or maybe you didn't even encounter it. I know some people that didn't have any problems with it. But, for the people that did, that was a huge impact on your actual, I guess, will to play, on your mood, on the kind of, like feeling that you actually had for the expansion. You log in and you hope to go to New York, and then you can't do anything for, 12 plus hours. I mean, it was frustrating. Now, I managed to actually get a few of them done before they patched it, but it was a pain. I mean, just logging out, teleporting over and over again, just constantly just trying to get this thing to work, trying to get this person to talk to you. It was aggravating. And it definitely contributed to my negativity about the game, shortly after its launch. I mean, it was just, just one thing after another, And there's a lot of people that feel like this was the last straw, especially, when you talk about like the gear game. And just the very simple nature of how, attributes and all that stuff work, it really has turned a lot of people off, I think. But the thing I want to get across in this video is, Title Update 8 and Warlords of New York are two completely separate things. If you are still going to play Division, you don't really like the gear system, but you're like, I don't like the gear system, I'm not going to get Warlords of New York, it just doesn't make sense. What I can say to you is, obviously, if you're going to keep playing Division, play the same stuff you already are, going to, 515 gear or whatnot, the content in New York is actually enjoyable. Now, I'm not going to say it is the most innovative content that the Division has ever seen, but there's definitely some mechanics that they've added, or at least some, interesting details to the boss fights that actually make it feel good. Now, I'm not going to say that it's worth $30 because I don't know if that's, worth $30 to you. If you're not playing for PvE, then obviously New York is really nothing to you. And if you're just playing for PvP and you're like, oh, I don't really care about the update, I can't really say anything to convince you to do that. But if you're a primarily PvE player and you just happen to kind of not like the way that they changed gear or the way that they changed skills, I mean, what's done is done. They're not going to go back. And I mean, paying them, $30 may seem like, well, I'm just rewarding them for a bad update. You're right, but you're also missing out on some, I think, enjoyable content. I think the biggest difficulty with me actually trying to convince you to maybe give Warlords of New York a chance is basically just, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. I know that plenty of people have already seen all this stuff on the internet, but there's people that haven't, and people that don't want to see this stuff, right? They just want to know if the actual, purchase itself is worth it. And all I can say to that is, if you enjoyed the content itself from Division 2, if you enjoyed the missions and you actually enjoyed just, going through playing with friends, none of that's going to change. I mean, the PvE is still the PvE. It's not terrible. It's, not the best, but this is definitely better PvE than we had in the base game. Now, obviously, it's not incredibly long, but there's a lot of extra stuff that is basically added onto it that'll actually prolong the life. There's the increased difficulty of Legendary. Then, of course, you have, the seasons and the leagues and all the random little stuff that you can do on the side. There's plenty of stuff added into it that will actually keep you entertained, outside of the content. But I mean, that if you don't actually look up the stuff on the internet, I'm sure that the secrets alone and, just trying to figure out how the hunters work or, whatever there are out there, that'll provide you with lots and lots of replay value. I mean, that'll provide you with lots of time just spent looking for things. So, from that side alone, if you're in the Division for the PvE content, I would just absolutely recommend getting Warlords of New York. I mean, I wish this was the kind of quality that we actually saw in the main game. Now, the issue that I actually see people having is that they are blaming Warlords of New York for the gear revamp. The gear revamp isn't the fault of Warlords of New York. The gear revamp is the fault of the developers. Let's just put it like that. And basically, they didn't want to put out this update until they had new content. So they delayed, the update until they were able to release Warlords of New York. But with that being said, I fully understand your dedication to not playing the game or to not supporting Massive anymore, or not supporting Ubisoft just because you think this is just some slimy crap, or you just disagree with the way that they went. But anyway, I will talk about my disappointment in the gear system and I will basically reiterate some of the points that I've pretty much already made in anticipation of the gear changes. But for now, that'll do it for this video. So I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.